Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be cracking on with the Disaster Datsun, but we're also going to show you the figuring out and the logic or the lack of logic behind doing a custom build. Now in the last video, we sorted out this back panel and got this that Ryan had made, this for the boot hatch to put the rubber on, all sorted and only tacked in. But we do need to get this floor pan out because we need to sort these sides out and get these edges curled over. Now it's going to be a loud one today because we've got a full house. We've got Uncle Richard working on the Disaster Datsun with us.
We've got Nathan Driver from Driver's Garage on YouTube. He's working on the K70. We've got Josh and Rue working on the Golf, which is off the channel. Jenny's doing the filming. We've got my brother Adam, who's working on his RX-7, and then I'm working between the K70, the Evo, and the Golf as well, so it's absolutely mental.
So, let's crack on. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is this floor pan section. Now, we do have to follow this line around here, but this panel flexes in whenever we put the pen on it. So, we're going to slide a weight up, if we can, and pop it back so that that panel doesn't flex anymore. Like that. And then, and we're going to do the same the other side, and then we're going to bend them. These corners will probably chop off, but then we're going to flex them up so that this can then be the inner boot area. But we've now got to get this out. Right, now we do have a couple of tacks just to keep this in place and to keep this floor pan just on here. And we also have a few tacks on the inside as well. So we're going to pop them off and see if we can get the floor pan out. Fingers crossed, we've just got these tacks here, then fingers crossed, I'll let us slide this out. And now a quick word about one of my new favourite apps and the sponsors of this video, Readly. Readly is a huge collection of digital magazines, podcasts and newspapers. There are over 8,000 titles to choose from, and that includes everything from classic cars to gardening. So if, like me, you don't have a great deal of time, but when you do, you want something immediately at hand to read, then Readly is for you. Now I use it to catch up with the latest news and events without having to troll through countless hours of internet pages. And I also use it for catching up on what's new in my favourite subject, cars. My favourites are the Practical Classic magazine and the Modified magazine. The best thing about it is you only have to search for your interests and it will suggest a host of things to read. It's very easy to navigate with easy searching, zooming and scrolling all at the touch of a finger. So if you've missed something or want to catch up on something, Readly's Back Editions is a perfect collection of old editions of your favourite magazines, meaning you'll never run out of things to read. And with the link in our description, you get 2-month free access with the added flexibility that you can cancel at any time. So if it's not for you, you've no obligations. Visit our link or click on the QR code and download Readly. It's easy to sign up and just as easy to start using. You will find a link in the description below and in a pinned comment. So what are you waiting for? Get reading. And with that said, let's get back to the video. Right, so when we put this in, I kind of thought it was going to stay in permanently, but it just have to come out. So I've got to bend these back down again so that we can slide it out, hopefully. Right, so because it's not a straight line, it's actually a curved line. We've got some ripples, so what we have to do is we have to pop a few relief cuts in there and we'll buzz them back up when we get it back in. So with these edges on, it's not going to come out how we put it in, is it? No. It's not going to go in how we put it out even. So we'll try to slide it in from the back, although unfortunately we've also got a taper on it. Oh no, we've got taper the right way, haven't we? Yeah, taper's the right way, taper's this way. So I think if we bash this down and try to jam it in from the back as opposed to from the side. See how it goes? Not quite reaching, so what we'll probably do is, it's actually not bent over enough, that is it? No. Either. No, so those measurements didn't work, did they? Right, we've got two issues here. This line, because we had to mark it on the car, then took it over there to bend it, is off. It's only a little bit off, but it's off on both corners. So that means even if we bend it again, it's probably going to be a little bit off. So the other issue is we've got a gap here, so it didn't quite reach on this side, which we originally didn't account for. We didn't think we were going to fold it up. It was kind of an afterthought. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim off here, and we're going to bring this panel down and we're going to lap it onto the bottom, which is going to give it some added strength anyway on this corner. So we do know this corner's right.
We do.
And if you make just a straight L, that long, Rich, yeah, that eye 20mm deep to go underneath there and up to there. You want to get about that eye to give us a bit of clearance. Right, so what we've done is we've cut this off level or a little tiny back 2 or 3 mil further back, and what we're going to do is, Richard at the moment is making an L section, and that's going to brace underneath here. We're going to shape that so it's got a little bit of a curve on it, and that's going to go up under here. Then we're going to go inside, we're going to mark this off, take it back off, and then we're going to cut it off and hopefully butt weld it up to that. It should give us a better finish. Right, so we need it as far back as we can, but I'm guessing that corner is pushing there. So if we, lob corner off, and mark that, lob corner off to there, corner right there, so straight there. That'll let it go a little bit further back. And if we take it off by, we'll take it off by end of this wheel arch. In fact, just cut that off for now. That should do. We've just found it's a little bit wobbly here, so what we've got to do, whip it back out, secure this floor pan just in this corner here, and then put it back in and see where we need to mark it off to bend it. that far off that though, is it?
Well off there.
I tell you what we'll do, Rich. We'll mark it off so that now we're close. Bring it back out a little bit to match this panel. So we'll mark it off and we'll zippy that top off.
Bendy.
Yeah, unbendy round about here, and then probably lots of bendy there, because that goes round the corner, doesn't it? The next thing to address is this corner now that this side's on. I do want it to echo this top shape here, so it's a little bit consistent. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a template for this corner. We're going to echo it into this corner, just flip it over basically. And then we're going to try and see if we can make this U shape. Now, you can't bend a U shape round a corner because you've got two corners fighting each other. So what we'll do is we'll probably make the outside and then the inside as a separate panel. I do know that this corner is a little bit too far out to do that. So first we'll make the template, then we'll see how far out this corner is, then we'll cut it, push it to where we want it to be, tack it, and then make the panel for it. As this is going to be such a tight corner on the shrinker and stretcher, what it's not going to want to do is it's not going to want to stretch all this metal here. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce this metal here, because the shrinker and stretch will probably get the edge there, so this will stay unshrunk. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce this edge. We're going to get us curved first, and then we're going to add this edge in when we put the outer edge on. So now that we've made these two corner panels and we've got our radius, which is nice, it doesn't exactly match here, but it flows really nicely. We do have to weld this in. Now this panel has to come back out for us to weld all this on and everything in place. So now that we know everything is where we want it to be, we can weld that back up. So we have to take that panel out. Now I have to make the decision whether we weld this to the body, which would be better because we'll keep this line, but I don't think we're going to get this panel back in because this does extend underneath it. So we'll probably weld it to this panel, but we do have to keep in mind this line here. If we weld it a little bit out, it'll jut out, it'll look rubbish. So we're going to whip this back panel out, see what we're going to weld it to. So next thing to do, as we've got this orientation and this orientation to sort, because these do push in and out, what we've got to do again is we've got to secure this back on the top. So we've got his height and the edges pushed into where they need to be. Then from the inside, we can tack these into place. Then we've got to take this back off so that we can put it on a bench and get these welded in from behind. Right, now just line this way. We've kept everything nice and straight, and this transition here is quite nice. I like that. The only thing we've got to do now is this little bit here. Now this edge comes out here a little bit, so I think if we tap that back to about there, and all we make is a flat panel with a lip on, not with a lip on because it's got to transition with this as well, so just a flat panel, and we offer it up, see what it comes to, and then we'll cut the line, this line after. So we'll make the flat panel first, we'll tap these edges back, and then we'll cut his line and bend his panel in. That should make a nice transition, because off the bottom of here is going to be a nice big square diffuser, hopefully. What I'm going to try and do here is now I'm going to try and eyeball that curve. It's a bit of guesswork, so it might need a bit of bashing, but what I want is I want that there. I want this to go around and match this, so we can then splice it in, and then I can trim the bottom of this off. Right, so now we've got it close, what we're going to do is we're going to cut where the metal's in the way, so we can recess it back, and then we're going to fine tune the little piece. Well, it fits, but the lines aren't quite right. If I show you on this side, now all this is correct. This line follows down here, looks lovely. The only issue I've got is this line kicks out a little bit. From here, it wants to go back a little bit. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down here and I'm going to push it that way. Right, so we've got this edge. It looks good there. It's bumped out a little bit there, but that's because it just needs tapping back and a bit of weld when we get around to this bottom. So we've got this line, we've got that line, we've got these lines. There is a little bit of transition here that we have to sort out, but we'll do that because it's a little bit higher than it is here. But we'll do that when we trim the bottom of this off. Now all I've got to do, I've just ground the welds down, but that just gives me a better chance of feeling the shape as opposed to getting my glove caught on all the welds. And like I say, we have got a bump here, and that's the only thing I can feel. It all feels good. So let's crack on with the other side. So some of the issues you do get with making panels on the fly like this is you're too busy concentrating on this and you lose sight of something else. What we have lost sight of is this corner here and this corner here. Now on the other side we've got about 1.5 mil difference. We've got about 4.5 mil, 5 mil here. So what we need to do is we need to take this corner down and take that corner up a little bit. What that does mean is taking this weld off and pushing that panel back up so that it meets the floor, and then unfortunately we've got to cut through this again and pull this down. Now it is going to increase the gap that we've got to weld, but it should be fine. We should be able to either bridge weld that or pop a little bit of metal in there. We're going to stick with this panel. We're going to cut across here most of the way, not all of the way. We're going to cut this off. We're going to push that up, weld this so the floors, so it's a little bit further up, get some measuring done on there. Make sure this floor's in the right position and then pull this down and weld it. So we've only got about 1.5 mil, 2 mil difference between there and there, because at the moment there's about 5. Right, so now we've addressed that, we're going to make this corner. So now that the paneling is all made for the back end, all this light pod, these corners and these sides, they're all stitched up, they're just tacked on at the moment, and the frame for this back panel is just floating. Now, it is very, very sturdy, but again, it is only tacked on and the frame is still floating. So at some point, we do have to make a frame to attach this frame that's on here to the rest of the car. But now the paneling is done, we're going to continue forward onto that floor pan. Right, we do have a little bit of an awkward step in here, but what I think we're going to do is come from here, and instead of stepping down here and across here, that's going to make it awkward, I think I'm just going to bring it straight across there. What we're going to do is we're going to bend this bit of metal and have a look. We're going to tack this down. We're going to bend this bit of metal and see how it looks. And then if it does look good, we'll use the same profile for making this section of the floor pan. We'll probably make this section separate from this section, because basically it's got to come down here, it's got to step up here and across there, so this section here is going to have to be made individually without getting too complicated. Right, so yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to make this same panel extending a little bit further down the floor pan, because we want to make the floor pan in three separate pieces. So we're going to make this extending right underneath here and right up to that wall there, because when we do, as it gets to here, we're then going to cut this off so that all we have to make is a small angled bit to finish this section off. There is something we have to do here as well, but we'll do that at the same time as doing this side transmission, the top of the transmission tunnel as well. But for now, we're going to get this bent and get it offered up. Right, floor pan, kind of made. We've got the step in it, but we do have this corner in the way. Now, the thing we can't do is we can't put the floor pan in to see where this bend is. That's going to come on the inside of this wall because we can't thread it through there enough because it sits on this lip, so it only goes up to here, and we can't slot it that way because we've got it on the we've welded it onto a bar which is a jack stand. So what we've got to do, we've got to factor in a little bit of redundancy. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure this distance from here to here, and then we're going to make it a little bit longer so it fits that side, but then it can come this way. So if we get it maybe a couple of mil out that side, because we are kind of almost guesstimating this, if we get it a little bit out that side, we can still slide it that way because we're building in a little bit of redundancy under here. So we're going to make it a little bit too long this side and try and get that side right. When that side's right, we can then mark this side off and cut it. So the other thing that we want to do with this is we want to strengthen it a little bit. Instead of it being just a flat piece of steel, we do that by rolling some beads in there. Now we do know there is a chassis rail somewhere about here. So what we're going to do from the edge, this is the edge that we're going to actually turn up. From the edge we're going to measure, find out where the chassis rail is, and then from there we're going to bead roll either 2 straight lines in to give it a bit of strength, or 2 squares. We don't know yet. We're going to have a look, see how much space we've got. From there, we're then going to bend this edge up, and fingers crossed, it should fit. Right, I've just done some measuring. Now, we have built in a little bit of redundancy here, so basically that's going to be underneath the transmission tunnel. It's not by a lot, about 10 mil here. The thing is, the transmission tunnel does come out to round about here. It dips out this way and then across there. So this line is going to be underneath the transmission tunnel, but we're going to cut that off and then flip it up. So what we've got to do is we're going to do 2 bead lines here, and we're going to do 1 in the center here, about in the center anyway. So it should give us a bit of consistency, and that should work. Fingers crossed. Right, moment of truth. How far out are my measurements? Right, so we need to take about 10-15 mil off this so it can slide a little bit further this way to marry up this. We've over bent this a bit, so we need to knock that back. But also, this is where the original bar is. That's where the basically sits there. And what we want to do is we want to box that in from this corner to this corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting straight across there, and then we make this boxing in section, and that is going to be lat welded. It's going to have an edge on it. It's going to be welded from the front, and it's going to be welded, butt welded from the back up here. So that will be a nice section that boxes that in as well. Once we've done that, fingers crossed, it should fit again. Right, so the bar that comes here, it kind of comes from there to this corner here. Now to box that in, I think probably the best way we can approach this is by starting at the bottom. Right, now believe it or not, this fairly simple panel was kind of hard. Now unfortunately I forgot to press record, but what I basically did is I made a shorter one, about 40 mil shorter, so I got all the angles correct there, and I got all the angles correct here, because as you can see it goes round a few brackets and a few welds. So did that, got that all in place, straightened it out so we could transfer it onto another piece of metal, extended it by 40 mil, which is how we got all the shapes, and then bent it again. Now what we have to do now is this lip is going to tuck underneath this floor pan. So what we need to do now is offer it in place, cut the floor pan off where this is going underneath it, and fingers crossed we should be able to tack that in. We might not yet because we still do need to remove this floor pan, but we'll get that done now. Well, it's in. It was an absolute pain. That corner was an absolute pig to do, but we do have as template for the opposite side. So fingers crossed, the opposite side will be a little bit easier. But that's it for this video. Don't forget, on the 4th of May, we've got our own cars and coffee meet at the Black Bull Inn in Hatfield, Doncaster. So we will see you there.